Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us. We're here to discuss the 2021 Clarington Community Funding Program. This funding program is administered by the Community Development Team, and we are happy to be providing a thorough review of the program today, along with the application and review process. My name's Erica Mittag, and I'm a Community Development Coordinator, and I'm joined today by my colleague, Vanessa Billenduke-Guppy. We look forward each year to sitting with you all in person, and while COVID has taken us virtual, we hope that this presentation will provide you with all of the information you need and also an opportunity to ask some questions. We are excited to be launching a new program this year. An extensive review was done throughout 2020 to identify opportunities for the program to meet the ever-evolving needs of our community. Clarington is growing, and we are confident that the new program has grown in line with the community. This new funding program was approved by Council, and if you're interested, the minutes of the report that was shared with Council for their consideration at the October 19th GGC meeting can be found on our clarington.net website under report CSD-009-20. There will be a lot of information shared today, so we encourage you to write down your questions for the end of the presentation, and remember that you can always contact us at communitydevelopment@clarington.net at any time. Our contact information will also be shared towards the end just in case you need it. The recording of today's presentation will be also available on our website in the coming days. This program over the years has proven to be an excellent vehicle to acknowledge and support the efforts of our local volunteer community and not-for-profit agencies that provide services which benefit the community in general. The community funding program is constantly evolving, undergoing constant review and modifications to ensure that the program continues to provide a means to support appropriate initiatives which meet the defined criteria. Please note, this new funding program replaces Clarington's former community grant program and community event sponsorships program. Applicants who applied previously through those programs will now be directed to apply to Clarington's community funding program. As we mentioned, there was a thorough review done this year, and as we go through the presentation today, we will examine some of the eligibility criteria closely so that you are aware of some of the changes and similarities. The Clarington Community Funding Program accepts applications through one intake a year, with the exception of our in-kind stream that we will explain in further detail in a bit. The intake occurs between December 1st and December 31st annually. Any application received after 11:59 p.m. on December 31st will not be eligible for review. Please make sure you get your application in prior to the deadline. As in previous years, applications are accepted for a maximum request of $5,000. It is important to note that due to the volume of applications that are received, it is not common that $5,000 applications are approved for their full amount. Should you have an application that you strongly believe is worth a higher request, it is important to highlight in your application the benefits a higher request would have and back those benefits with data. Our funding webpage has an excellent resource on Durham-specific data sources that can enhance your application, and we will be sure to show that to you later in the presentation. New to the program this year is the aggregate maximum amount of $20,000 per organization. One concern that was raised through our extensive review of the funding program was the need for organization sustainability, as well as to provide funding to enhance what exists in our community and provide opportunities for something new. We believe strongly in collaboration, so don't let that 3-year gap stop you from exploring great ideas. One of the main pillars of the new community funding program are the priority areas. These were identified through various meetings and surveys delivered to our community, staff, council, and partners. They highlight the areas that our stakeholders felt were most important for a prosperous community. The 4 priority areas are connected. Being connected to one's community is a major pillar of wellness. These applications would show strong proof of building social connections locally, an active community encouraging social and civic engagement. Environment. Making contributions to an environmentally sustainable community. These applications would show a strong correlation to benefiting our local environment in some way. Inclusive. Creating an accessible community where people feel welcome and they belong, celebrating diversity. Diversity is one of our strongest assets, and these applications will show the ways in which we not only encourage diversity, but celebrate it. Innovation. Support and showcase unique project ideas, previously untested or pilot projects. Research a new concept. These are all examples of innovation. Innovation is the backbone of growth and development, and we shouldn't be afraid to try out new ideas. These applications would be an opportunity to bring something new to the community while still indicating its need, or perhaps similar ideas in different communities that have shown tremendous success. These 4 priority areas are meant to guide us in creating and approving applications that meet the criteria identified by our community directly. Another new component to the funding program are the streams. They are broken down into startup, growth, and in-kind support. As you may recall from earlier, they are all accepted through 1 intake per year between December 1st and 31st, with the exception of our in-kind support, which can be made at any time throughout the year. Let's dive a little bit deeper into each one. The startup stream is intended to provide one-time startup funding related to the development of a new group, initiative, or event. This can be a project or initiative that is new to you, but still within the mandate of the organization. Ultimately, these applications will explore ideas that are not tested and the outcome isn't fully known, but that is aimed at making a great impact in our community. This funding is also applicable to organizations who have been in operation for less than a year, as the growth funding will not yet be available for them. Some examples that may apply to the startup stream are a new community group that is getting started and has begun the process of establishing a governing board of directors. For those organizations that are just getting started and may not have these in place yet, we are happy to support you in getting started. Please do connect with us through an in-kind support request to get set up and apply the following year for funding. It could also be an established organization that is trying something completely new to them and/or the community, something they haven't tested yet and don't have solid outcomes predicted. Perhaps you aren't sure if the Clarington community would uptake the proposed idea. This is where you would apply for that type of funding. The growth stream is intended to provide funding to organizations or event organizers who are committed to sustainable expansion or growth. This could be a project or initiative that takes an organization or event to another level. It may look to increase attendance of an existing event or diversify the audience or participants of a program. An effort to increase the cultural diversity would also be a focus of this stream. This stream is only available to organizations who have been in operation for greater than 1 year. The growth stream is aimed at growing an existing successful program or event. This could mean adding additional delivery dates, enhancing the capacity of the event, and more. This is also available for those looking to increase the cultural diversity of existing programs. For example, the demographics of participants in your existing program may show a gap in the cultural diversity, and you may want to explore ways in which you can make programming friendly to other cultural groups and practices. This stream could also look at branching into another sector. Maybe the work you do could use the support of another not-for-profit organization that specializes in a particular area. Again, if you are ever unsure of which stream your application would fall under, please do reach out. We are happy to support our local nonprofit and volunteer community when possible and have included an application for in-kind support on our webpage. A full application made through the portal is not necessary for these requests. To apply, please visit clarington.net/funding and complete the form, or email us at communitydevelopment@clarington.net if you have any questions or concerns. In-kind support is available for consultation on managing a volunteer board, volunteer recruitment strategies, effective fundraising techniques, grant writing support, among others. It is also available for printing or cross-promotion of programs, services, or events. Please don't let that list limit you. If you are ever in need of in-kind support, please do connect with us. While we cannot guarantee that we will be able to fulfill every request, we will make every effort to, at the very least, connect you with alternative options. The following groups may be eligible to apply to the community funding program: registered not-for-profit organizations, business improvement areas, or volunteer not-for-profit organizations or groups operating under the authority of a board of directors. The organization must have a written constitution and bylaws that establish the framework that the group will operate within. The organization must also have an elected board of directors of not less than 3 members who are democratically elected by the membership. They must hold an annual general meeting and must have less than 2 years equivalent operating budget in unreserved cash, which will be demonstrated through their annual financial statement. The organization must be in good financial standing with the municipality of Clarington, meaning all outstanding debts to the municipality must be paid in full at the time of the group's application. There are some expenses and organization types that this program will not fund, and they include general operating expenses that support the day-to-day operation of an organization, individuals, for-profit organizations, political organizations, and local boards and committees of council, including hall boards. Religious organizations, except where the program or service benefits the broader community and does not involve religious teachings and is not generating revenue for the organization, are also ineligible. Organizations that receive funding through Clarington's municipal budget process, or for those that are the designated beneficiaries of a fundraising event hosted by the municipality of Clarington, such as the Mayor's Love of Art Gala and Mayor's Golf, are not eligible to apply. Organizations that make donations or charitable contributions are also ineligible. However, you may receive donations. Organizations that operate with a deficit for more than 2 years in a row, we must see sustainability in your organization, hence this requirement. Programs or organizations that other levels of government have legislated responsibility for providing funding are also ineligible. These include top-up of shortfalls for government-mandated programs or services, and they could be educational programs, public health, housing services, provincially mandated childcare services or social assistance programs, and healthcare services. As well, organizations must abide by the Ontario Human Rights Code and Charter of Rights. I will now turn it over to my colleague Vanessa to cover some of the administrative components.
Thank you very much, Erica. So all of the details that have been discussed today, they can be found on the website. And we just want to do a quick run through of the site so that everybody is aware of where to find this information so that your application can be successful. So I'm just going to share my screen here. Great. So you will see here that we are at the webpage clarington.net/funding. On this page, you will find a lot of the quick facts that have been discussed today. So the application deadline being between December 1st and 31st of each year, a little bit of information about each of the streams that we've discussed today, the maximum amounts, etc. So as we scroll down, you will see here that there are 3 areas: startup, growth, and in-kind. And there's a little bit of information about each one as discussed during our presentation today that can be found here. You will also see that there are links to apply. You can either hover over the images to take you to that portal, or you can click on the Apply Now button that can be found at the bottom. It is important to note as well that the startup and growth streams will only be available between December 1st and 31st, and those buttons will then be down. See the in-kind stream. As Erica mentioned, the in-kind stream does not require you to complete a full application on the portal. So by clicking on the Apply Now button on the in-kind, you will be taken to a request form where you can complete your organization information, such as the name of your organization, the contact name, email address, and just a little bit about what it is that you are looking for. When you submit this form, that will come to Erica and I as the community development team, and one of us will be in contact with you shortly. We will go back to the funding program webpage. As we scroll down, as Erica mentioned, the new program does focus on 4 community priorities, being connection, inclusion, environment, and innovation. These are really important to your application, as you will be required to indicate which priority area your application falls under. And so they can be found here at any time if you need to refer back. As we scroll down, you will see that there are 4 drop-down areas. Eligibility criteria is the first. Here you will find a lot of the details that were shared in today's presentation if you ever would like to look back. Further down, you will find application process and support. This has the information about all of the community funding cafes, such as the one that you've attended today, where you will also have the opportunity to ask questions. A recording of this presentation will be made available in this dropdown. As you scroll down, you will also see that there are some resources here. So we do have tips for grant writing, a pre-application checklist, and Durham-specific data sources that can really help to enhance the application that you are submitting. As we continue to scroll down, you will also find that we have the approval process here. In an effort to be completely transparent, we did want to ensure that everybody was aware of how the decisions are made. There is a review committee, so you will find the members of that committee listed here, along with the terms of reference, and you will also find a scoring rubric for each application here. Here you will find reporting requirements. Each successful applicant will be required to submit a report. We will talk a little bit about that further on. All successful applicants will be provided with a link as we approach the deadline, being December 15th of the same year for which the funding was awarded. But in case anyone ever wants to refer back, this can be found here. So we will go back now. Okay. So here you will see, oops, sorry, we'll just So here you will see one of the major differences of our application process this year is the utilization of an online application portal. The portal can be accessed by clicking the links on the webpage that we just went over, or by going directly to clarington.smapply.net. When you reach this site, you will see a screen as you see here on your screen now. This is the main screen of our online portal. As you can see, we only have one program listed here, which is the community funding program. In the future, if there were to ever be other programs, you would find them here. But to get started, you can click on the green More button at the bottom. The next screen you will see the Apply button. So it is fairly intuitive, but once you hit that button, you will be directed to either log in or to register a new account. One thing we really do want to bring your attention to here is the FAQ sections. So you will see that there is an FAQ for managing your organization and for completing an application. So if ever you are wondering how part of the process works or how to work with the SurveyMonkey application, please do refer here, and there's a lot of really great resources for you to use. So next, we will come to the registration of an organization. Each organization will require having its own account where all of its information will be stored. Once an organization profile has been added, individual contributors can be added to that account to review and provide edits, and we will go over a little bit about how to do that next. So once your organization profile has been made, you will be directed to a screen such as this one. We just want to take some time to walk you through some of these steps so that everyone's really clear on the new system. So you will see here at the bottom the green button to add a member or a team. So by including their email addresses here, they will receive an email inviting them to register an account that is linked to your organization specifically. This is going to allow for really easy editing, signing, or contributions from other members of your team. Next, you will see here the blue arrow is pointing to the eligibility questionnaire. That is the first step of your application process. To get started, you would just click that link and it will take you to the eligibility quiz. So next, you will be asked a series of questions in this form that determine whether you are eligible for the Clarington Community Funding Program. In each section, it is really important that you hit save or mark as complete before moving on. If you are deemed eligible after completing this questionnaire and you are not sure why, please do feel free to reach out to us at communitydevelopment@clarington.net. So when you have been deemed as eligible, you will be taken to the application where you will see 4 sections. You are able to complete each section separately, save what you've completed, and then return back to the application as needed throughout the grant writing process. So you are not expected to complete each section before moving on to the next. You will also see at the top of this screen that there is a progress bar across the top indicating where you are in the process and how much you have left to go. A check mark beside each section, as you see here at the bottom beside the eligibility section, will indicate to you that it has been marked as complete so that you know exactly how much you have left to go. On this screen, you will also see the preview button at the top of the page here. This can be used at any time if you would like to see a complete view of your application in its entirety. Sometimes it can be really helpful to be able to read it from start to finish. By clicking on that preview button, you will be brought to this section here, where you will have the option to download your application. This is a really helpful feature for our applicants who may want to retain a copy of the application for their records. We do encourage all of our applicants to use this feature when your application is fully complete and just prior to submitting it, so that you're able to save a copy to refer back to when needed, or even as a baseline for your future applications. So next you will see here, each of the sections can be found along the side there. So the first section is your organization information. This is going to include basic information like contact information, board member information, etc. In that section, you will also find that you will need to provide your organization bylaws and financial information, which must be attached to your application. So you will see here that there is a button to upload the bylaws of your organization. You will also find that there are instructions for financial information, as well as a template that must be used for submitting your information. So you will be required to download that, complete it with your information, and then re-upload. And we will go over this document in the next few slides. Now here you will see the financial template. So organizations are required to provide only 2 years worth of financial information. We will be looking for the previous year's actual budget and the current year's estimated budget. If you don't have a dollar amount for a particular cell, please just enter 0. You will see here that we do have different asset categories. You are not restricted to those. Of course, you can be adding additional ones along the bottom there. Here you will find the expenses of your organization. It is important that we have an accurate picture of your organization's finances. And here you will be able to fill out pre-populated cells, so rent and office supplies, but you do have options here to add other ones as needed. And again, if you do not have a dollar amount for any of these, please do just put 0. The next section allows you to indicate which stream it is that you are applying for. It is important that you choose the right one, as this could really impact the final result of your application. And while InKind is included here as an option, again, a full application is not required. So as we reviewed earlier, please visit the website where you can submit the much shorter form directly from our website, or feel free to contact us at communitydevelopment@clarington.net. So here you will see our project details. This is really important for providing an accurate picture of what it is that you will be applying for. So along the top here, you will put your current funding request, the maximum amount that you are asking for. You will also be asked to include a description of your project and how it relates to the community priorities that you identified in your application. In this section, you will also be asked to indicate which community priority you feel your current application best applies to. You will also be given the option to provide a video. This might be helpful in telling the story of the application that you are making. This is not mandatory, but is here if you feel it is helpful. So here you will be able to outline any past projects that your organization has completed that support your ability to be successful. This is really important to show proof that you will be able to achieve the objectives that you're setting out to achieve. The Clarington Community Funding Program is also very keen on partnerships or sponsors. And so you will be able to upload any letters of support should you have them for your application. We would also like to have a timeline for your project. This is going to allow you to break it down from start to finish, and it allows us to visualize the project that you are applying for and ensure that you've thought out the steps that it is going to take to complete. Under cost estimates, this is where you're going to itemize the estimates for each aspect of the project to equal the total of the amount that you are requesting. As we went through earlier, you did have an option to provide the full amount that you are requesting, and this is your opportunity to break down where that money will be spent. Finally, we will get to the declaration page. This is the opportunity for you to answer a series of questions. It is important that each of these are checked off and then are signed by either the president or chair or the vice president or vice chair of your board of directors prior to submitting the application. To make it easier, this is where you might use the invite members to your organization function of the SurveyMonkey application, because they will be able to sign in from wherever they are and provide their final sign off and any edits. And it will not allow you to submit the application if any of the areas are missing information. Finally, we do want to again highlight that the deadline for the application is December 31st at 11:59 p.m. Any applications received after that time are unfortunately not qualified to move to the review round of the approval process. Now, again, as we discussed earlier when we were reviewing the website, in an effort to remain completely transparent, the Clarington Community Funding Program Review Committee has been established to review and score all eligible applications. This committee is comprised of the Director of Community Services or their designate, the Director of Financial Services or their designate, the Director of Public Works or their designate, the Community Development staff, and also a maximum of 3 community representatives. If you are interested in learning more, again, the terms of reference of which they abide by can be found on the clarington.net funding webpage. As we discussed earlier, there will be a scoring rubric of which each application will be scored. This is what the review committee will be using to assess and score each application. So it will cover questions under organization capacity, which is 10% of the final weight, such as, does the organization have stable management and credibility in the kind of work that they are applying for? Is the application well organized, logical in progression of ideas and process, etc.? Is the program, service, or event as proposed aligned with the mandate of the organization of who is applying? Next, we have project concept for 20% of the final weight. This will answer questions such as, does the project seem interesting, innovative, original, and not redundant with other projects? Are the proposed methods, approaches, etc. realistic, reasonable, effective, and outcomes oriented? And is the project sustainable? Next, we have program or service plan for 20% of the final weight. This will answer questions such as, is there enough planning and does the timeline make sense? Has an intended audience been identified and have the date, time, and venue been set? And are the tasks, timelines, and outcomes clear and measurable? Next, we have collaboration for 10% of the final weight. This answers questions such as, does the proposal include partnerships and collaborations? Are there letters of support? And does the proposal show a clear collaborative effort? And are there in-kind contributions or matches, such as funding, staffing, equipment, from the organization that's applying? Next, we have budget for 10% of the final weight. So this, of course, will answer questions like, is the budget logical and reasonable? Is the organization operating at a deficit? And can the project be successful if it is partially funded? Or have there been funds requested from other sources? And finally, of the greatest weight, of course, is Clarington impact for 30% of the final weight. And this answers questions such as, does the project serve and involve the community? How many Clarington residents will benefit from it? Does it serve a particular segment of the population? Will it benefit an underserved or a marginalized population within Clarington? And does it address a community need? Finally, the funding award will be made to organizations or projects with a score of 80% or higher, and funding amounts are determined based on the number of eligible requests received to the program. Now, finally, we do receive many applications every year, and in an effort to remain completely transparent, a thorough review is done of each, which can definitely take some time. You will see here a timeline of the approval process so that you are aware and know what to expect in the coming months. So after the deadline, the community development team will assess for basic criteria, such as whether it was received before the deadline and have all areas been answered, etc. The applications will then be passed along to the review committee, who will be trained and prepared with the scoring rubrics to complete their assessments prior to the committee meeting to discuss the applications. The final step is to make the final recommendations to the Chief Administrative Officer prior to notifying each of the applicants about the final status of their application in March of 2021. And I will now pass it back to my colleague, Erica.
Great, thanks, Vanessa. New to the community funding program is the inclusion of a follow-up report. Every year, by December 15th of the year that you receive funding, your follow-up report will be due. You will receive notification of this report by email and as well reminders as the date approaches. The follow-up report will ask questions such as the impact of your program and its success, the number of people that you were able to engage in the community, and perhaps a testimonial of a registrant or participant or event attendee to demonstrate the impact of your project. Please note that notifications for this funding report may come from SurveyMonkey Apply, so please watch your junk folder. As our community continues to grow, there will be increased demands on our funding program. Ideally, this program should be available as seed money for new groups or events, or money to help enhance and grow organizations, programs, and events in our community. The funding is not guaranteed and should not be built into your operational budgets. As always, we encourage groups to investigate other opportunities for financial support, and we would always like to thank you for all of your efforts. As we see funding opportunities come available that may be applicable, we will forward out the links by email. We do this through a quarterly e-newsletter. To ensure that you are on the newsletter distribution list, Please forward your contact information to communitydevelopment@clarington.net. You can always reach out to us at any time as well if you have questions about other funding opportunities that might be available. On behalf of the Municipality of Clarington and Vanessa and myself, we would like to thank you for joining us today. We hope you are now well equipped to submit an application that will benefit our community. On the screen, you will see our contact information. Please do reach out if you have any questions that were not answered today, and we will endeavor to answer all of your requests. The best way to reach us is likely at communitydevelopment@clarington.net, and either Vanessa or I will respond. We wish you all the best in your application writing. Thank you and good afternoon.